Let's Jeep! Let's Jeep, boys! Oh god, it's been a long time. Yo, what's up, guys? My name is GLOCO. We're gonna play the letter again. A lot of you guys are still requesting this, and I did promise that I will finish this game because I really want to finish this game. This game is awesome! Twitch peeps, yeah, start saying hello to the YouTube peeps before I get rid of that freaking chat. Hell yeah. I don't know what part we are now, but hell, we're gonna finish this. Our agenda for tonight's stream will be to finish Ashton's chapter, so hopefully we'll get that together. All right, so we good. All right, here we go. I don't even know. Oh yeah, to give you guys a recap of everything that's happened during the last time. Well, Ashton and everyone else pretty much acknowledges the existence of that ghost bitch, and the ghost bitch was haunting them even when they were having a meeting back in Isabella's apartment. So now they took refuge in the pub of Jose Rizal. I mean, the guy that looks like Jose Rizal, the bartender guy. And now things heated up between the group. Seems like a lot of people are arguing, especially Isabella and oh shit, I forgot that. Rebecca. So Isabella and Rebecca were arguing, quarreling, you know, girl fight and all that shit. And then Ashton, being the little shit he is, thinks that he's the hero of all this, and you know, he wants to put an end to this by going to the mansion alone. So now we're going there. So yeah, Twitch peeps, say goodbye to your chat. There you go. So here we go, boys. Without much trouble, soon enough I find myself standing outside under the chilly Luxembourg night. So yeah, this is the part where Ashton decides to go to the mansion. He just went out of the pub, right? A gust of wind picks up shortly after I step out, carrying the telltale smell of an impending rain. I'll give it about an hour or two before it starts. From the looks of it, tonight will be another downpour, maybe even stronger than the one we've had this morning. On instinct, I hunch further into my jacket, hugging its thick material closer to my body while I weave my way through the lines of empty cars in the parking lot. The letter crinkles in my pocket with each step I take, though I pay it no mind as I hurry towards my car. I've nicked it minutes ago from Isabella's belongings on my way out. If this is all connected, I need this damn piece of paper with me. However, ridiculous it sounds, I'm quite sure it won't be missed. Well, either, but I can't waste time here and wait for her to find out, can I? 4 hours is all I'm giving myself to get this done. 3 if I'm inclined to go by the rules Z-Man set, but when have I ever? Regardless of how generous that is, each second's just as important as the next. So I hurry, one footstep over the other, echoing as I make a beeline for my car. But as with every plan, problems crop out last second. It's practically a universal rule. And it does, in the form of a lone figure waiting for me next to my car. Oh, it's a ghost bitch. Ah, it's Rebecca. Rebecca turns just as I near, the corners of her mouth twitching up in a wry smile. She offers no greeting except for a slight tilt of her head. Even as my pace slows and I look at her with all the unvoiced questions in my eyes, she remains wordless, merely throwing her head back and shifting her attention up the starless sky when I come up to stand behind her. Or beside her. What is up with my reading tonight, guys? Is it because of all the honey lemon I've been drinking? Jesus Christ. Sugar rush. Another gust of wind blows as she breathes out a sigh, weary, thick with something close to resignation. The breeze carries all of it away while she hugs her arms closer to herself to keep warm. Which raises the question, why she's out here? The air is already heavy with the promise of rain. With clouds obscuring the view, there's really nothing left to look at but a dark blanket of nothingness. Still, she stands here as if she's intentionally waiting for everything to fall. That, or she's here for some other reason. But before I can voice a single word, express a disapproval of any kind, she raises a halting hand at me, sharply cutting off the rest of my question.
I'm not here to stop you, wherever it is you're planning to go off tonight. I won't be able to anyway. You look like you've already made up your mind.
Hell yeah, I have.
Go back inside. It's going to rain soon. It'll probably be even heavier than the downpour we had this morning. You wouldn't want to be caught in it.
I will, in a moment. I just want to stay out here a bit for some air, away from the noise inside.
You mean the noise you guys have been doing?
Everything's been so chaotic these days. This little break is nice. even if it means standing in the middle of a parking lot, of all places.
Well, it could be the safest place, you know, from that ghost bitch.
Getting out of this mess would definitely be better, but hey, you take what you can get, right?
It'll be over soon.
The confidence in my words surprises even me. How do I know? Why am I so sure? When in truth, what I'm about to do is a last-ditch effort. If this fails, if I don't find anything, we're back to square one. Or even worse, dead. It's the last lead I have. After this, we have nothing else to go off from. We have nothing else to go off from. Regardless, it seems to amuse her, and her laughter soon sounds above the murmur of the distant traffic and the light draft sweeping around us.
How I wish. I'll be content as long as she stops showing up in my mind whenever I close my eyes.
I think that may take some time. The brain doesn't easily forget trauma.
I can try. But, you know, it also did a lot to us.
Tell me about it. The back of my head's still smarting from my fall last night.
Not that kind. I'm talking about us. As people. I hate to admit it, but this whole deal with the ghost, with the curse,
Why are you
it
blushing?
also brought out an ugly side to us. To all of us. And it made me realize plenty of things. About myself. About us.
Rebecca trails off. Suddenly, a pensive expression spreads across her face. I've seen it countless of times before, and every time I see it on her, it's usually followed by a memory, a silly story, or even something embarrassing I've said from childhood. Unlike me, who'll much rather forget, she remembers each of them so easily. And after a short bout of silence, when she smiles, I know this is one of those times again.
Do you remember that one time back in secondary?
Which one? We did a lot of dumb things back then. Well, I did, but you get the point.
Mandy.
Mandy?
I thought you still don't like her. Don't tell me you've kept in contact with her. Are you guys friends now or something?
Oh no. We do see each other sometimes. On the way to work or when I go out for lunch, but it's nothing like that. We're not friends. Not in this lifetime. I don't think so. I don't think we'll ever get along, but if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't even be friends, yeah? You stood up for me that day. And from then on, things have changed.
It makes it sound like I'm some sort of a hero. Mandy was in the wrong, of course, and I'll defend her. If no one's going to stand up for her, who else will? Chances are it would have escalated, and who knows? Maybe she should have stopped going to school or transferred or something. I don't know. Any decent human being with an ounce of sense should know better. I acted because I know what I'm doing is what's right. It's as simple as that. Yet, she smiles as if it's worth more than that. A fondness that goes beyond nostalgia.
I guess what I'm trying to get at is, this time, I don't want this to go unsaid. You know, just in case something happens. Ash, I've always been in love with you.
Oh my god, the confession right. Oh my god, death flag! Death flag! Oh, please do not do a fucking confession while we're still doing shit and trying to solve things. That's a freaking death flag, you know? That's what happens. That's one of the top death flags. I love you just before the war, just before the guy goes to war. And the fucking girl confesses, she says I love you, and one of them dies. You freaking... Oh my god, Becca, you should have known better. Oh well. Well, yeah, we just have to do our best then. She says it so plainly, holding my gaze and in a voice too frank, that her admission stuns me into silence. Like the wind has suddenly been knocked out of me in one fell swoop. No words will form, not even a single coherent thought as the meaning of her words bear down on me. Nevertheless, she continues, desperate to express everything she has kept to herself all these years. This is what the fondness is. Why? For her, it weighs heavier than any feelings of nostalgia can carry.
Since that time in secondary? Since I made that promise to never leave?
Oh, she's gonna cry. Oh.
I've always truly loved you.
Afterwards, there is a relief. A weight suddenly being lifted from her shoulders after so long. She closes her eyes and lets out a breath. When she looks back to me, though, there's nothing but hope in them. Eyes that are searching for an answer. Facing the sincerity behind her words, I find myself grasping, scrambling for the words. Because as much as this pains me to admit, I can't give her the same affection she's asking from me. Might have spent so many years alongside each other. Hell, we practically grew up together. But that never automatically means I'll ever hold for her feelings that goes beyond the boundaries of friendship. Well, I do appreciate her presence in my life, and I'm more than glad that she has stuck with me even though the toughest moments, even when she finds me difficult or aggravating. However, it's really all there is to it. She's a close, important friend to me, but nothing more.
Rebecca, I'm...
Why are you blushing then, you little shit? I draw in a breath, ragged, unsure, uncertain how and which words to put together, so it will hurt her less. So the wounds they might leave won't be as deep or scar. Then I can only utter an apology.
really sorry, Becca. I'm glad, I'm happy you feel that way, but I can't. I can't. There's already someone that I'm in love with.
That sucks. Yeah, like if someone confesses to me, and then I'm pretty sure that won't ever happen. But if someone confesses to me, like that's like the last thing I would say, that someone's in love with me. I would say that I just can't. I would end it there. Come on. What do you mean? So if you're not in love with someone else and you love Rebecca, is that it? Is that the kind of message you're trying to give her? What the fuck, dude? Just say no. Like, I just don't feel it, Oh well.
Someone else.
And it's pretty obvious it's fucking Isabella. It takes all of my willpower to force myself to even look at her. For sure there will be hurt. Maybe she'll even be angry, and I don't hold it against her. And sure enough, when our eyes meet again, her mouth has already settled in a tight line. She assumes a rigid pose. There's a sharpness to her gaze, but behind it is pain. Undeniable, searing, something that she tries to hide by hastily looking away and stepping back.
Becca, I know this...
It's all right, Ashton. You don't have to explain anything.
Yeah, but you should... I should...
I told you, no need. It's not like I didn't have an idea or anything.
She's not dense like you, Ashton.
When you think about it, it's really quite obvious. The way you've always looked at her said everything. Anyway, let's just end this conversation here, all right? I don't think it would do us both any good. This is going to get really awkward if we keep at it.
Actually, it already is.
When all has been said and done, at least I told you, right? Maybe I can finally let this whole thing go. Who knows?
Yeah, actually, that's a point of confessions. When you're gonna confess to someone, it's more of like when you really like the person and once you decide to confess to someone, it's more of like a do or die event. It's either she rejects you or not, but you're still gonna go through it. You're confessing because you want to. You're not really expecting that the feelings will be returned to you or something like that. No, you just want to get it out to that person, let them know so that you can move on. If she says yes, if she likes you as well, then hell yeah, that's good. If not, then boom, move on. It's gonna hurt, but still, nothing you can do, bruh. Nothing you can do. God. Good thing my first ever confession went so well. And here we are, 7 years later, we're still together. Ding Chan, I love you. Anyway.
Thanks for hearing me out, though. I won't keep you long. I know you have things to do. Just promise me you won't do anything dumb, all right?
She doesn't wait for an answer. Instead, she flashes me one last strange smile before walking away. Well, the only thing I can do is watch her retreating back. In that one moment, one conversation, something also breaks between us. Something irreparable. A different kind of regret, haunting me amidst the silence of my car as I drove off and leave it all behind. Within 10 minutes, I'm driving out of Luxborn and heading straight for Anslem Village. In the distance, flashing of lightning light up in the horizon, white and sharp against the black curtain of the night. You know, if all these things been you know, if ever this happens to me, like a ghost bitch haunting our group, I wouldn't drive alone. Like, there's a chance, like there's a high chance if she keeps popping, the ghost bitch pops up in our bedroom, it pops up in the closet and everywhere. So there's a high chance it's gonna pop up right next to the driver's seat. So hello, and you can do nothing about it. Anyway, thunder threatens with a rumble, seconds later echoing along across the sky, and with one last roar the skies open in earnest. November 1, Tuesday. Wow, it looks so ominous now. The rain fall in fast, steady sheets, creating shallow puddles on the dirt path, drenching everything the eyes can reach. Despite having grown up in this city, I still despise the rain. Living here doesn't mean I have to like it. Lucky me! I've reached the mansion before the downpour has turned torrential. The long slug from Anston village by foot has already been made difficult by the light drizzle and biting winds buffeting against my body every few seconds. By the time I found cover under the trees lining the vicinity of the mansion, my shoulders are already drenched. My hair is also sticking against my skin and out in every possible direction. Thankfully, the leather taser and gun I've bought with me has remained relatively dry. That's the most important thing. What are you gonna do with a fucking gun? However, those are the least of my problems at the moment. Sometime after the housewarming party, scumbag Wright has suddenly grown a brain and tightened the security around the mansion. A guard is now stationed in every possible point of entry. The main entryway, the back door leading to the kitchens. Hell, it's almost a miracle no one has spotted me once I entered the property, although that's probably because I've kept close to the forest. While I can always create a clever way in for myself under this deluge, it will be difficult to do so without making much noise or leaving tracks.
I don't really have the luxury either, do I?
Considering off this place feels since I've considering how off this place feels since I've stepped in the property and the mansion came into view, every light is off. Even with the security personnel on patrol outside, the whole house itself, well, it feels empty, eerie, too quiet. Normally, I'll pass it off as some kind of a power outage because of the storm. It's not a far off conclusion when this place is almost in the middle of nowhere. However, something just feels wrong. I mean, they're freaking rich. They should have a generator or something.
Something happened here.
Hell, yeah. Or about to. It's the sole reason why I haven't done anything yet. Simply observing, watching, listening for anything. I might be pressed for time, but I'm not a careless idiot. Although I need a way in. Desperately so, moving without thinking will not only endanger me. With so many unknown variables and what we're dealing with, I also have to act on this assumption that someone is always in danger, especially in this place. I can't act impetuously. As much as I hate Wright, I'm not about to cause his death because of one thoughtless action. If there's a place he deserves to be at, it's in prison, not a morgue. So, when a hoarse, painful sob suddenly rings out above the loud pitter-patter of rain, only then do I steer. Oh shit, guys. Oh shit. Here we go. A woman. Perhaps a servant? Or worse, Hannah Wright. I don't think it's Hannah Wright. Why would she be in the freaking forest? Well, it's coming from the forest. Just right up ahead, in fact, not too far from the house. Regardless, I give the place a quick, wary glance before following the noise. Carefully keeping to the shadows, one cautious step after another. Louder and louder it goes as I near. Until it abruptly turns into a loud, desperate, anguished cry! I break into a run. One nervous hand ready on the gun holstered at my hip, and the other raised for balance as I scurry across the dense understory. Dead leaves crunch under my shoes, but I pay it no mind. There's only the voice, the woman, and nothing. Abruptly, it all stops, and I'm met with a sudden hush. Blank, empty, almost deafening in its stillness, even with my labored breathing and pounding heartbeats against my ears. Behind me, another branch breaks, and Taskete kudasai. Taskete Ashton. Prepare for the jump scare, guys. Dread surges within me while I spin around and take a hard step back, ignoring the chilly pinpricks crawling at the back of my neck. But before I can even meet her eyes, the world unexpectedly pitches sideways, tilting and tilting till the ground beneath me finally crumbles. My hands fight for purchase, only to meet air. By then, it's too late. My foot slips further. Ashton! My foot slips further and the rest of my body follows. Come on, stop being a girl in a horror game. You know, slipping on nothing. Dark spots blur the edges of my vision. Black tendrils twist and coil around my limbs. Soft footfalls echo from the far distance, scurrying, scampering, moving in an odd rhythm with the sharp, piercing notes of her laughter. But more than that are the voices, releasing venom inside every crevice in my head. Murmurs that jeer, scoff, and deride. Over, because you didn't listen. And over, it's all your fault. And over again. Why won't you believe me? A reminder of what I failed to do and of who I failed. What I'm trying to desperately fix. A scream threatens to burst, but my throat closes off. Ever so slowly, a chill seeps into every nerve in my body, washing away every sensation in me, apart from one. There is only fear. Once again, her laughter echoes, a sound both bitter and unforgiving. It is the last thing I hear before she reaches for me. The ground trembles. The world slows to a stop. Half darkness greets me when my eyes finally snap open. The soft patter of dripping water somewhere spurring my consciousness further. So this is like the dungeon where Marianne went or fell down during her chapter. So okay, we're still alive, boys, for some reason. The freaking ghost bitch dragged us in here. Stupid bitch. For a few short moments, I remained still, blinking away the dizziness, allowing my vision to adjust to the lack of light and my breathing to even out. First, what is up with my reading today? There's just something about my reading today. It sucks. Before pushing myself up on one arm and attempting to stand. Maybe I'm reading it too fast, that's why. Okay. Turning alone is a struggle on its own. An inch of movement sends a stab of sharp pain right up my arms and my back, giving me another pause.
Shit! I hope I didn't break anything. Fuck.
There doesn't seem to be any injury or a major fracture, although the whole of my back does feel sore and raw. Probably from when I've skidded down prior to landing myself here. A comforting thought. The second attempt comes easier later, though no less painful. And by the time I'm back on my feet, the exertion has left me gasping in short, shallow breath and leaning heavily on the wall nearest to me. Behind me, a light draft blows in from what I've fallen in, humming in short, sharp bursts into what's apparently an underground tunnel and brings in the fresh, earthly smell of rain from the top side. Regardless, it fails to mask the old, musty scent of the place. A mixture of mold, mildew, dust, grease, and something distinctly foul. Ugh. Like death. More worrisome than the putrid, festering smell, however, are the cells that line both sides of the tunnel. Under the dim light, I can barely make out what's inside on some of them, but I already have a few ideas, all of which I refuse to delve into at the moment. Knowing how long this mansion has stood, somehow, no matter how unexpected finding the existence of this place is, it isn't too surprising.
I wonder if Scumbag knows about this.
Probably not, unless he's also the kind of person who takes joy in inflicting this kind of suffering on others. Well, I don't really think so. He's rotten to the core, but not that rotten. He'll probably balk at this, move out at the first opportunity and have it demolished. The very idea of what has occurred in this place years ago makes me reel as well. I've known long ago places like this tend to hold secrets. Is this so? If this is just the tip of the iceberg, well, I fear what I may discover in the mansion itself and the tale behind that fucking letter. But fear is inconsequential. As unpleasant as the sight of this is, this place might also be the only way for me to get inside unnoticed. Sighing and taking one last gulp of clean air, I push away from the wall and delve deeper into the passage.
Let's just hope it'll be smooth sailing from here on.
Turns out that alone is too much to ask for this early. Oh my god, shit! Ah, fuck! Ah, that voice! So chills to my heart, what the fuck? I thought someone whispered to me, Jesus Christ! Damn. That's fucked up. I thought Vanilla whispered to me. Anyway, continue. No 20 paces into it, another sound abruptly rises above my footfalls, rebounding off the hollow walls and echoing inaudibly across the whole span of the tunnel, before fading away just as swiftly as it rang. I paused, nevertheless straining my ears for more of it, while I gradually moved my hand to my side, slow and steady until the tips of my fingers brush off the gun's handle. Although cold against my skin, it's the closest thing I have to comfort at the moment. For a long minute I wait, holding my breath, watching every form, edge, and shadow at the corners of my vision for any movement. After a heartbeat and nothing, I allow the tension to ease out of me in the form of a long, slow exhale that reverberates around the whole passage.
Who's there?
Oh shit, it's Marianne! Perhaps it's because of what has happened earlier and how I've ended up here, or maybe it's because of my training, but in spite of the panic and fear in that voice, I don't immediately answer. Instead, I pull my gun free from its holster and wordlessly draw close to where the voice rings out once again. Afraid, frantic, weak.
I'm asking you a question. Who's there?
It's only after I've released the safety to do It's only after I've released the safety do I answer, while continuing my approach in a careful, steady pace.
I think I should be the one asking you that. Who are you? Show yourself.
I can't! I'm stuck in here!
Well, Ghost will definitely not be saying that or have a conversation like this, or be stuck anywhere. And as if to prove her point, she extends a hand from one of the cells ahead and waves. Then she pulls back, grips the iron bars, and rattles it lightly.
I can't get out! Can you help?
In 5 quick steps, I'm standing in front of the cell, and sure enough, a woman's inside. Slumped on the floor, holding the bars with shaking hands, clinging to it as if it's the only thing keeping her upright. And not just a woman.
You?
Not just any woman.
McLaughlin?
McLaughlin, what the fuck? The same one I met at G's 5 days ago, smashed, drunk, and babbling her frustrations about her employer.
Holmes?
No, not McLaughlin. McCulloch. Marianne McCulloch, famous interior designer extraordinaire. Not so extraordinary now with how exhausted and feeble she looks, trapped in a jail cell of all things. Her breathing's shallow and there's a paleness to her complexion. Sunken eyes, cracked lips, dry skin, all signs pointing out, to starvation and dehydration. How long has she been in here?
Jesus. What? How long have you been stuck in here?
Exactly my thoughts, Ashton.
3 days.
Wow!
4. I don't know. I have no idea anymore.
3 days? Come on. A normal person can't live without water for at least, 3 days. But nevertheless, at that point, a normal person couldn't even talk anymore. Jesus, McCulloch. One tough cookie.
I just fell in, and that woman...
Even have the freaking energy to shout and oh
Whatever! Can you get me out of here?
In a moment.
Please?
But here, go feed yourself first before you fall over.
Wait, what? You have food with you, Ash? Fucking Chocomooch. Freaking Chocomooch, come on. She needs water. Food comes last. Hydration comes in as a priority. I fish out an energy bar from my pocket and hand it to her. She's lucky I always have one on my person for sudden emergencies or extended stakeouts. A little sugar to keep me going. Like any starving person, she wastes no time making a grab for it, unwrapping it straight away and taking in whole mouthfuls of it. Relief washes over her face on the first bite alone, although she's going to need more than that if if what she has said is true. Maybe she has I hear dripping of water, so maybe she has a supply of water somewhere. Maybe she's licking it off the walls or something. That's gross, but well, desperate times comes for desperate measures. But for the moment, it's enough to keep her alive. Good thing she seems to have the sense to prioritize survival over comfort. If the puddle in the corner of the cell indicates anything. Ah, there you go. That explains everything. She has a puddle there. So, there you go. That explains why she's still alive. Without water, the human body can only survive 3 days. See? Where did I learn that? Fucking Bear Grylls. Hell yeah. No food, and I'll give it an average of 3 weeks. Though even then, it won't be a pretty experience. Granted, some have survived longer than that. She's still fortunate I found her when I did. Now to get her out. My bobby pins won't be of any use here. Not like I need it. Unlike the ones we have at the precinct, a simple barrel hinge holds us against the these cells together. Even without any special tools, I'll be able to lift the door and free her. However, with how heavy it seems, I'll need a lever of some sort to help.
What are you looking for?
Some wood, a 2x4, I guess, a plank or a pipe, anything I can use as a lever. Wait here.
The hallway yields nothing but dust, dirt, and a few rusted chains scattered about. While I may find something in one of the open cells, I'm reluctant to check or even step in. Oh, come on. One of the Twitch people said that she drank her piss, and that explains the puddle. Come on, guys. Jesus. Well, desperate times call for desperate measures, and Bear Grylls did teach us to drink your piss, but only as a last resort, okay? Only as a last resort. Your piss can be toxic if you drink too much. So yeah. Ew. We can't have another person trapped in here. However, McCulloch ended up inside.
Well, there's no...
My head snaps back to her. McCulloch extricates a wooden board from under the mess of hay and twine near her. Without prompting, she slips it through with little space there is in between the bars. It's short, but appears thick and sturdy enough for my intended purpose upon closer inspection.
Good enough.
Alright, it's one of those olden time cuffs, medieval cuffs or something. Or restraints. I get to work at once at anchoring the other end of the plank at the base of the door and applying ample force on the other end. It takes a bit of effort, no kidding about the heavy part. Still, a grunt, a gasp, and a creak. In a matter of minutes, with a little help from her on the other side, the door eventually lifts off its hinges. It falls on the ground with a loud, ugly, metallic thud, but the sound of it puts elation in McCulloch's face. She doesn't even ask for help. As soon as she can, she hastily crawls out of the prison she has accidentally found herself in. More than happy to get out of it, despite lacking the strength to stand firmly on her feet.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wow, for 3 days in, without food, you look really nice.
After the second day, I was so sure I was going to die in there. If you didn't show up, today, I don't even want to think about it.
Is that some kind of Irish thing?
How did you even end up here?
For a second, she appears hesitant, looking away and fumbling awkwardly with her fingers.
I was looking for something. Someone.
Or her friend, yeah, the one in the mirror. A contemplative expression flickers in her eyes, something that's close to wistful, like when a person remembers a memory she's fond of. It doesn't last too long, but it still leaves me the impression that I've suddenly walked into something private. Something deeply personal for her. I'd rather not ask.
So this whole tunnel, at the end of it, it leads right inside the mansion?
The wine cellar.
Right into the kitchen, then.
There's a door of some sorts. I don't know. I think I pulled or pressed something somewhere. I was in a hurry. And I'm not sure if it'll open from this side. Hell, this place wasn't even in the floor plans.
What do you mean?
Does that really matter now? We have to get out of here. People died in this place. Kids. Oh God. Kids.
Oh yeah, the camcorder.
I could have shown you, but that thing won't turn back on anymore. It's like it only waited for me to see it before shutting down or something. How long has that thing even been in there? But those poor kids. All because of that thing.
Wait, hold on. What are you talking about right now?
The bloody letter! Ever since I've read that thing, since that day at the open house, she won't leave me.
Same.
But it should be fine now, right? I broke it. I broke all of it. She shouldn't be able to do anything now.
You broke what?
Nicola, one at a time.
You broke what? Oh yeah, the mirror, right?
It's all that fucking paper's fault. Oh God. Oh God. Dear Lord in St. Adelaide, bless those poor souls. We're not safe here. We need to leave. If we stay here any longer...
Nicola!
Abruptly, she stops, looks back at me with wild, panic-stricken eyes. I've seen enough of it so many times these past few days, from my own friends even. To know she has seen things, the kind that will easily make any person go mad, and perhaps we slowly are. The longer this takes, the faster our descent into it becomes. I can't even tell which one's worse, death or this. Seems like no matter what we end up with, there will be something horrible waiting for us. I need to hurry.
Listen, I need to get inside this place, and you're more familiar with its layout. If you can help me.
What? No! Why would I go back? Are you sure you haven't gotten raving mad yet? An exit's right here.
And this business with the letter has to end at some point. Look, I know you're not very fond of Luke Wright.
Damn right I'm not.
Damn right I'm not.
He can just go.
Go what?
But are you really sure you want to leave him like this? And what about his wife?
It strikes a chord. She falters, grows quiet as the tension lifts from her and her shoulders slump. Yeah, because Hannah looks like her friend. I do understand her issues with this. In fact, she doesn't have to go with me. Only tell me enough info so I can figure it out on my own. She can always leave afterwards, be done with this whole damn mansion and letter. The other end of this tunnel leads right into the forest. It will provide ample cover for her to be able to slip out of the property unnoticed. All the same, she steels herself and squares her shoulders.
Just until the kitchens.
Alright.
That's more than enough.
She nods, albeit weakly. Then, without another word, she gestures for me to follow, leading me further into the passage. Occasionally, she'll stop, find perches on the wall to catch her breath, but throughout the short walk, she asks for neither a break nor assistance. I suppose that's something we have in common. Eventually, we get to a dead end. Although before I can question her on it, she begins palming for something on the wall, tracing her fingers along weathered edges of the bricks with a frown on her face.
It should be somewhere here, I think.
What the hell are you doing?
She merely holds up a hand, begging for my silence and continues searching. Then, without warning, a few minutes later, something clicks. A portion of the wall shifts ajar to reveal a glimpse of another room. Bottles lining the walls, liquor barrels for aging. The wine cellar, indeed.
The ladder to the kitchen is on the far end of this room.
Surreal. This is all nothing but a surreal nightmare, but after everything, should this even surprise me? Ghosts, curses, hidden passages? I can't even bring myself to question the existence of this door anymore. I simply follow her to the undercroft without a single question, in spite of a number of them already swimming inside my head. As a kid, I used to crave for this kind of adventure. The stuff of mystery and detective novels, daring chases, interesting cases to solve, suspects to put behind bars, justice to serve. Well, I guess you finally found it, Ashton. I was blinded, I admit. Now I simply want this to be over. We'll leave the door open in case there's a need for a quick exit, especially after she mentions it's only by chance she has been able to open the door last time. We can't waste time finding the switch again in the occasion something goes horribly wrong. There's bound to be. With me feeling this high-strung and tense, I'm not even sure why I thought it would be a good idea to enlist McCulloch's help. Although she has been quite helpful so far, I can't shake off the horrible feeling something's going to happen to her if she stays with me. Even if I'm her safest bet, if she wants to get out of this place alive.
You really believe that, don't you?
Hell yeah.
Did you say something?
McCulloch pauses mid-step, turning to me confused.
I didn't.
What was that? So it's now Ashton hearing it.
You sure? I just heard.
Don't you think I'll be the first person who will know? Look, the ladder leading to the kitchen's up ahead. You might want to hurry. I just want to be done with this place.
See? You dragged another one.
Who are you? Who are you? This time, I'm sure. There's really a voice. Well, voices. Despite the look of protest McCulloch shoots me, I find myself stopping and looking for it, searching the immediate surrounding for the familiar form of the woman. I don't even have to venture too far from where I'm standing. Just an arm's length away from me, mirror shards litter the floor. And right on the biggest fragments... those things. They speak. All singing the same mocking tune against my ears, letting it echo throughout the small undercroft. Who are these? This is Rebecca. This is Zach. This is Isabella. This is a ghost bitch. She has nice teeth, by the way. Murmurs and laughters, jeering, scoffing, deriding, lacing venom into every crevice in my head, taunting me.
You dragged another person into this, Ashton.
And it's Isabella's
Into
voice.
another one of your silly little problems.
All because you can't fix them on your own.
Ooh.
You really haven't changed, have you? Some hero you are.
Useless.
Pathetic.
You're wrong.
My mistake lies in the first instant I've answered. The very second denial has slipped from my mouth, their words have also seeped into my heart, allowing it to prod at and rouse my temper. Despite knowing they are merely doing this to goad me, each word, each syllable trickle into me, spurring the guilt I hope I've long buried.
Are we? Or is that simply what you've been telling yourself all this time? Something to make yourself feel better, perhaps?
You're the one who took that letter off Isabella's hand that day. You're the one who opened it.
Technically.
How does it feel, I wonder, to know you're responsible for all of this?
What do you think I'm doing? Why do you think I'm still trying to fix this?
So that's why.
Oh, but you can't. It's already too late. And you know that. You know all of this is futile.
Just face it, Ashton Frey. You're a failure, and they are the ones who have to pay for it.
A badge and a gun, and you still can't protect your own friends. Can't even solve a case for an old man.
Can't even bring Luke Wright to justice.
Can't even keep his own family together. No wonder they left you. Before you do the same thing to them.
Mom and Dad are better off without little old you, aren't they? It's a good thing they had the sense.
Mom and Dad?
Pitiful, isn't it? Some detective you are. Some friend you are. Some son you are. You might as well just throw that rank away. You're no use to people either way.
Shut it!
I hate this. I hate how this monster can easily get through to me. Every weakness, every insecurity, it knows. To hear it said in my friend's voice, even more so. And what I hate above all of it is...
You know it's true, though.
All of it. It's why all you can do is tell us to shut up. You don't want to hear a single word, because you're already aware of it.
Trigger lords.
You can't even admit it to yourself. Who's the coward now?
But no matter how hard you try, you're not gonna be able to save anyone.
To chat, what are you... They're saying that it's kind of like, Ash's awakening in Persona 5. Am I even laughing?
Shut it! Not a single word anymore!
In the end, your own incompetence will eventually lead to the deaths of everyone you care about.
Screw you, Twitch chat! You freaking ruined it! I can't take it out of my mind now. Fuck. Oh well, I am down. I'm sorry, YouTube feeds. God damn it, Twitch chat! It laughs, sharp and piercing, at its sound. At its sound, something in me snaps, a rage hastily unfurling, red filling my vision. And the next thing I know, I'm raising my hand and something grabs at my wrist, followed by a buzz as another voice breaks through the haze.
Don't listen to it!
The fog from my mind lifts. Every sound, every noise returns to me, flooding my every senses. All at once, there is this deafening silence. Slowly, I became aware of my surroundings. Bottles of wine, bottles of liquor, the faint old scent of death and decay somewhere, and a hand holding into my wrist as if to keep me from hurting myself. In my hands, a shard. Blood dripped from where it has cut my palm, trailing down my wrist until it disappears behind my sleeve. Not too deep, negligible even. There is a pain, however, a different kind, an ache somewhere else that stems not from the wound, but where every single word has hit. Once I glance up at McCulloch, she merely stares at me with wide, horrified eyes.
Don't listen to it! No matter what happens, don't do what it says! It's how it gets us.
My grip on the shard falters, but only after I nod and drop it entirely does she release her grip. Afterwards, she simply steps back and looks away, hugging her arms closer to herself. She breathes a sigh, heavy, perhaps weighted with her own guilt. What this monster might have used against her.
Come on, we're getting close.
She walks off without another comment, but there's worry in her as she gives the fragments one last glimpse. On the ground they lie lifeless now, no more voices, no more insults. But even as I walk away, one whispered taunt continues to ring in my ears.
It's useless, Ashton Frey. You are going to die.
And you are going to die alone!
A fear. One that has been long kept in the darkest place in my heart. One that a small part of me wishes for. The trapdoor swings open without much fuss. It isn't even locked, probably left open for when Wright asks for some midnight snack. I make sure the coast is clear, of course, before I pull myself and help McCulloch up. The butler of theirs is nowhere to be seen. He's probably sleeping, attending to his master, or doing some extra late night work before turning in for the night. Meanwhile, Wright won't touch anything to do with menial chores, not even with a 10-foot pole. It's next to impossible for him to linger here. No servants. No anyone. And just as easy as that, we're in. Gently, I close the hatch. If things go well, the same path will be our way out. If our luck doesn't hold, that's not an option now, is it? I have people waiting for me. I really don't want to think what might happen. Sometimes it's best if you simply revel in the little victories. They're great blessings when everything else is going against you. And in a place like this, fraught with unknown dangers, it's a feeling that lasts only but a second. Suddenly, a sob ringing out from some distant part of the house, echoing through its empty halls. Beside me, slumped on the ground, pale and breathing heavily, McCulloch immediately tenses. Her eyes goes wide, and she grips the side of the counter with a force that might be enough to crack it, if only she has the strength. As it is, she can barely stand. She hasn't fully recovered. It makes sense of the 3 or more days without proper food or water. And it's this weakness that puts the fear in her eyes. She's aware. If something happens, if there's a need to run, she won't be able to. She's a liability at this point.
Holmes, I really don't think going any further is a good idea. Look at this place. Everything seems fine. Nothing's off. Maybe we should just go? I really don't like the sound of that.
You really don't have to come with me. Just until the kitchen, yeah? We're already here. You've done your part. From here on, I'm going on my own.
Yes, I said that, but...
Can you even stand?
She doesn't answer.
You'll only be putting yourself in more danger if you follow after me. You have an easy way out of here. Stay here. Once you're okay, I need you to get yourself out of this place.
What? I'm not going to leave you!
Well, I'm not taking you with me either, lady. So it's here or out there.
You really are mad, aren't you?
Probably all will be, if no one fixes this little curse problem we have.
How are you even gonna fix it, Ash?
You think you'll find something in here? This is just a mansion, for God's sake!
You guys keep your voices down. Security's out.
Maybe it's worth a shot. Besides, if what we're hearing right now says anything, I'd say scumbags.
Who?
Right. He might be knee-deep in trouble and he has no idea about it.
McCulloch still appears as if she's about to argue. Instead of more words, I unholster my taser and hand it to her. Standard issue for every member of Luxport police force, but it should take a genius to know how to aim and fire one. Shouldn't take a genius. Even Isabella may just be able to use it without training. Yet, Miss Interior Designer extraordinaire stares at it as if I've just handed her something particularly nasty.
Listen, you want to wait? Fine. I'm leaving this with you. But if I don't come back here within 15 minutes, I want you to backtrack and get the hell out of here.
Are you daft, Holmes? I already told you!
10 minutes? Really?
In case something goes wrong, I need someone who can tell people what's going on. Who can tell my friends what might have happened here. They're at the crawl. You know the place, right?
A trail off, letting the meaning of my words hang in the air. I want to be optimistic about this, really. However, I'm going against something almost everyone can't quite understand. I'm just being realistic with my chances. McCulloch seems to understand this as well after what I've said. Any sign of protest has already died from her tongue, and she simply looks at the taser quietly. After a moment, she just nods. Beyond the walls of this room, the cries continue to grow louder. I take it as a sign to leave. Without another word, I slip out of the door. Like a siren call, her voice beckons. Finding out who that is seems a good place to start as any. I keep to the shadows for the most part. Not that there's any need to, the entire place just feels empty. Odd, when a house this big should have a large staff. Exactly. You'd think there will be 1 or 2 roaming about for some late night chores or someone seeking out whoever's creating this ruckus. There's none, however.
Shouldn't they have security posted inside as well?
Exactly. Unless their security means the butler, though I doubt scumbags that's sloppy. He loves his life more than anything. Well, probably more than his own wife. And the things he's done, he's bound to make more than an enemy or two. He's also the kind who'll do anything to keep himself safe. Alive.
I wonder what he'll say when he finds out that there's something not human living with him in his own house.
Potential dangers aside, being on my own grants, Being on my own grants me a greater degree of mobility, which I'm more comfortable with. Sure, I could have enlisted Mahala's help. Next to the people who owns this, she's probably the one who's most familiar with the mansion. But the cons of bringing her outweighs the pros. She's better off somewhere a quick exit's in sight. With no tag along, I only have to worry about myself. Watch my back. Selfish, I know.
But necessary.
Yep. In the same manner this whole plan is, no matter how idiotic going into this is. And besides, I don't really need a guide when the house layout is fairly simple, almost mirrored with only a few modifications in the rooms. Although I've only been here once, I think I already have a good grasp of this place ins and outs. As long as you can tell which is east and west, it shouldn't be hard to find my way around. After the dining room, the main foyer should be the next thing that greets me, where the woman's cries are leading me. Honestly, after what happened outside, I'm not even sure if I should be trusting what I'm hearing. But with the whole house somehow seemingly devoid of any of its inhabitants, I'm inclined to look into this. More than surviving this curse, a huge part of this is my training speaking.
I just hope this isn't a crime scene I'm walking into.
But nothing's ever that simple, isn't it? Not when you're dealing with the supernatural. Nope. Because as soon as my feet crosses to the next room, something shifts. Boom! In a flash, nearly without fanfare, it happens in the blink of an eye. I almost miss it. One moment, there's red. In the next, boom, I'm standing alone in the foyer. For a brief instant, I pause, glancing wildly around the place, blinking twice as if my movements will spur the vision back. Yet, nothing. No blood dripping on the walls, none trailing down the stairs or pulled on the floor. No eyes watching my every movement. Only the same cries gradually growing in intensity the longer I dally. Along with a voice.
Mother.
Desperate.
Where are you, Mother?
It's always about the mother in horror games, huh? Pleading.
Mother, please. I don't want to be alone.
Coming from the same direction I've heard the cries from. Upstairs. The place is not entirely empty then. The better question now is, who? Definitely not Scumbag or the butler. And I've yet to see hide nor hair of them. Not knowing their whereabouts puts me on the edge. I have to be careful not to make any noise or be seen. Maybe the wife, though one can't really tell if it's her. The way the walls echo her voice. Nevertheless, it pushes me to move. Taking almost 2 steps at a time, despite the sickening feeling that something's lurking behind every great shadow or every small corner I pass. As if the house has several eyes watching my every movement. As if something alive dwells behind the walls itself. Boom! Hell yeah. I tried to shake it off. The uneasy sensations already made home at the pit of my stomach. Dread. And it only grows deeper the closer I get to her. The relative emptiness of the place doesn't help either. Neither does the harsh wind battering the windows, nor the sheets of rain pelting down the roof. For a fleeting second, I find myself wishing for Scumbag to simply show up. I don't get too far down in that train of thought, though. Abruptly, the cries stop, replacing it with...
Mother, please. She's here. She's here, Mother. She's going to take me. She won't leave, Mother. Mother. I don't want to go with her. Tell her to go away. Mother! Mother, she's here! Help!
That can't be good. Adrenaline overcomes me in a rush. In no 2 heartbeats, my feet's already moving. Before any sense can catch up or doubt creeps up to me. My hands ready at the holster as I hastily set off for the far side of the hall. One alarmed footstep after another while struggling to keep the sense of panic at bay. A door lies ajar at the end of the and coming from the floor above.
She's going to hurt me! Help me!
And do not hesitate. Moving in despite the lack of light, the steep stairs, or the thick layer of dust kicking up with my every step, I paused only a moment upon reaching the top. Then without wasting a second, I pushed open the door. She sits in the middle of the room, shoulders hunched and shaking. Her hands cover her face as she weeps, obviously to my presence, oblivious to my presence. It's as if she has heard neither my footsteps nor the soft creaking of the door, continuing undisturbed, like I'm standing in a time far removed from her. She doesn't even flinch when I call out to her.
Hey, are you alright?
Mother, I've done it, Mother. Take me with you, please. I can still hear her. She's here. Help me! Help me, please!
Belatedly, I noticed the blood on her hands. If it's the same one drenching the whole attic, I'd rather not know. However, the whole room has ended up like this. It is the least of my problems at the moment. Even the single human body doesn't have this much blood. So, bodies? The thought sends an unpleasant twinge in my stomach. Does Wright even know about this? It's bad news, alright, but this? This is beneath him. He'll definitely balk at the first sight of it. Anyone will. Yet this woman lingers here, unmoved by the sight, letting her sobs fill the room, repeating the words over and over again like a prayer of salvation. But to whom? The mess of parchment she has left on the floor? Just what the hell is happening?
Hey, lady, are you?
The rest of that question never makes it out. I don't even see it coming. I'd have been more aware and on guard, really. But there's little I can do when a well-placed blow to the back of my knees makes me stumble. The momentum alone sends me reeling forward. It barely even registered in my head that the woman's gone and the room's as normal as it can be. Not above the pain suddenly shooting up my side when I hit the floor. I don't even get the chance to get my bearings back when a hard enough blow to the stomach causes me to buckle down and land heavily on my knees. Gasping, I fumble wildly for my gun. Although before I am able to turn, level it, and shoot, a hand grabs my wrist and twists it. Hard. A gasp. A grunt. A cry of pain slips past my mouth. The gun falls on the floor with a thunk. As soon as it lands, a foot kicks it out of my reach and it slides uselessly under the bed. It's probably, the butler. Agony suddenly explodes in my chin, jerking loose a sharp cry of pain and stars fill the edges of my vision. A brief moment of regret hits me for leaving my taser with McCulloch when a piece of cloth closes around my neck. Without warning, my tiger pulls tight. I'm left gasping, choking, clawing for air, blindly reaching behind me as I still try to fight him off and loosen the pressure on my neck. Except any sort of movement only causes him to pull it taut.
My, so many rats scurrying about in this mansion lately.
Wright's butler.
Tell me, what did you do with the madam?
I have no idea what he's talking about. Did something happen to Hannah Wright?
Let go, you asshole.
Now, Dummkopf, you're in no position to be rude. Last time I checked, I'm not the one breaking into other people's homes. Now answer my question. What did you do with the madam?
What happened to Hannah, though? I can't remember. The pain rings and resonates through my already sore body. Still, I managed to write it out and spit a mutinous.
Fuck you.
Keep that dirty mouth babbling and you're getting a knife in the kidney. I assure you, it will be more painful than this.
He really doesn't need to threaten me by now. It's all too much to bear at this point. My lungs feel like they're burning with a lack of air. Dark spots begin to fill the edges of my vision. Ever so slowly, the world around me dims. My consciousness rapidly slips away from me, without meaning to.
Get away from him!
Hearing that voice, it's as if I've been doused with a bucket full of ice, cold water. Familiar, too familiar. It's Isabella. And more importantly, it shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be hearing it here. She shouldn't be here. Immediately, my eyes snap open. And right there, right on the attic's doorway, stand Isabella of all people. A rolling pin in one hand and a standard issue police taser on the other. My taser. She must have borrowed it from McCulloch. Where else could she have gotten one? I doubt she has ever used one even. Well, the way she holds it right now, this guy can easily disarm her in one hit. But there's something in her. In her eyes. Although there's a look of fear in them and her hand shakes, she keeps the weapon trained and pointed at scumbag's lacking. Untrained or not, she does not plan to leave here without putting up a fight, it seems. Admirable, really, but it's just not something we need right now. I need her to be away from here. I need her safe. The chance of that happening grows slim with every laughter that slips from him.
Oh, this is just getting better and better. The bratwurst won't be pleased with the number of bodies we have to dispose of today, you know. Tell me, how many of you are there? So I can prepare the proper number of bags.
Wow, this guy. He is a doctor, by the way. Damn it. What the fuck is going on? Why is she here in the first place? Did you follow after me? Oh, dude. So they have been killing people. Jesus Christ. Who else came with her? Zach? Rebecca? Are they all here? Panic surges within me. She knows how bad the situation is, but did she really have to run in here and expose herself like that? Does she even know how to use a taser? For fuck's sake, more than worrying for my life, it's her I'm concerned about. Getting strangled, dying, but choking isn't part of the plan, but her following me here isn't either. This is why I prefer to do things alone. This is why I'd rather be the only one to take the consequences. I don't even want to think what this bastard might do to her after she's done with me. Though my voice comes off nearly a croak, I try to tell her as much. She has to leave. Stay far away from here and these people.
Don't! Damn it, Isabella! Get out of here!
Another bout of pain erupts in my side, cutting off my words. A cry of agony bursts from my mouth. I can taste blood in my tongue as I heave, attempting to get in as much air despite the towel still coiled around my neck.
Ash?
You're going to lose air quickly that way, Dummkopf. Better keep it shut.
Get out! 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 Val!
Don't be stupid! I'm
Just
not leaving
shoot,
you here!
Isabella! What the fuck are you doing? He laughs, too cruel, too unforgiving. The way each note beats against my ears in spite of the warmth in them sent chills down my spine. This is a man whose hands have already been stained with blood before. Yup, he's definitely a killer. He won't hesitate.
I'd follow his advice if I were you, little girl. What could you possibly do with a toy? Just hand it over and be on your way. It'll probably be too difficult for a little girl like you to use.
There's a moment of silence. Fuck, I can barely keep my eyes open. But the next second, though, I still don't exactly understand what's happening. Isabella shouts. Not a cry of pain, not a yell of panic, but one that's resolute, firm, perhaps in a tone that's sleek, fiercer than any I've heard from her before.
Try me! Ashton, duck!
I do, more out of instinct and desire to survive, closing my eyes before my mind can fully process what's going on. It all happens in a blur. The telltale sound of a taser being discharged resounds through the room. The air crackles. Something whizzes by, almost too close to my ear, followed by the thud of something blunt connecting solidly with another object. The next thing I know, the towel strangling me has started to loosen. Did you take care of... I collapse on the floor, dazed and grasping for air. From my peripheral, though, the haze of blood rushing sound slowly flickering back, the butler buckles. He spasms once, then without much fuss, falls face first beside me, knocked unconscious by 50,000 volts of electricity in a fucking rolling pit. He'll be out for a while. I have no idea whether I should laugh or cry at that. Somewhere in front of me, my oxygen-deprived brain vaguely registers Isabella's form. She slumps on the floor, also breathing heavily. Right next to her trembling hands, both the taser and the rolling pin lie useless and forgotten, while the mood in the room eases. A long, gradual process of the tension lifting. For countless seconds, we remain quiet, with only our short gasp and sighs to fill the silence, allowing the adrenaline to ebb away and both our breathing to slow. Not a true repose by any means, but simply a brief respite. There's still the curse, we're still inside the mansion, in imminent danger, and we still have no idea how to fix this. Outside, the rain seems to only intensify. Lightning flashes fleetingly somewhere, white and piercing, and the sky rumbles. No rest for the wicked. I steer first. Once recovered, having regained some semblance of sense and strength. Breathing still hurts, but it's unbearable, as it's moving. Although every small motion causes a wince, there will be bruising tomorrow. I can manage. Retrieving my gun from under the bed easily, but only with some effort, I'm able to drag an unconscious man to the far end of the room, snapping one end of a handcuff on his wrist while fastening the other on the bed frame. That should keep him restrained for a few hours in case he wakes up prematurely. Although, all through this, Isabella stays quiet. In fact, she hasn't even moved since. Her hands still shake and taking long draws of breath while she stares vacantly in front of her, almost as if she's in shock. Perhaps she isn't even expecting any results, spurred only by some kind of desperation. Now it's sinking in. Unfortunately, we need to get moving. We don't have time to wait for everything to register in our heads. Kneeling in front of her, I give her a light shake.
Belle, we need to go. You can't stay here.
Slowly, she turns, staring at me with wide eyes. Worry flickers briefly in them along with something ineffable. Then, without warning, she lifts a hand and stabs me right across the face. Hell yeah! Yan! Yan kasi! Ginagawa mo. The sound of it cracks the air, shattering the silence like a fragile glass breaking. Despite the familiar rumble of thunder outside, it manages to ring louder above the storm. I don't even know what hit me until my head has already snapped back and my cheek stings with her anger. And it is anger. In spite of the stillness and the lack of words afterwards, not fuming though, never fuming, but the kind that burns slightly and soundlessly. A frustration instead of a teasing rage. One that ebbs just as quickly as it flows. And once the tide subsides, there's only that gleam in her eyes, warm, steadfast, and unflinching. Quietly, I brace myself for the truth underneath that gaze. It slips from her lips, softly, nearly fading under the sound of the rain still falling fast. Not for the weight in each of her words.
What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
Belle,
If Zach didn't slip up, no one would have known where you went.
Thank you so much, Zach.
Belle, one person knowing is enough. Any more than that, and
You almost died. He could have suffocated you right then and there, and you could have died.
Yep.
I told Zach to give me 4 hours. That would have been enough time to.
Yeah. Stop it, Ash. Just be thankful you're still alive.
It would have been too late.
Exactly.
And by the time anyone ever finds out, you're already fertilizer.
She trails off, drags one indrawn breath after another. A brief lull as her frustration finally gives, dissolved into something more pensive and somber. Her shoulders droop, and though her voice rises hoarse and weary in her next words, there's only certainty.
You count too, you know. When I said, that night when I told you I don't want to lose anyone anymore, that includes you. Alive. We're still here, Ash. You have us.
And once their meaning fall, roar, it does so not with the force of a dam breaking or a raging storm, but with the gentle, steady warmth of a heart burning, an ember easing slowly, lightly, rising and giving, until all that's left is a truth, an understanding. Not alone. Never alone. It lingers, even as we both drift back into silence and her words take root, because in the gratitude that swells after is another warmth blooming. Pleasant, welcoming, like finding home. Like finding ourselves in the haze of us, into the haze a squall has left, creating something fragile, yet immutable in both of us. It's in her eyes, in the way she holds my gaze unwavering, in the way she carries herself despite sitting amid a place she fears, in the way she keeps herself from trembling and falling apart, because fear is inconsequential when people she cares about are at risk. Change. She realizes it now, holds on to it. Another little thing, another small thing from her that may go unnoticed and pass by quietly, but will eventually amount to a lot of things. Tiny gestures that mean nothing at first but began to matter to me one day, until, despite myself, a small smile slips from my lips as the same warmth from earlier unfurls in my chest. Unhurried, unfamiliar, and bright from all these years I've carried it, but have never given the words for it.
Stop smiling like that, Ashton. I'm not done scolding you.
But this time they come easy.
I heard all of it. Don't worry.
Are you really okay? That guy hit you a little too hard on the head. Here, let me...
I reach up just as she extends a hand towards my face, catching her wrist in a light grip, drawing it closer and folding her hand in between mine. Although her expression does shift into mild confusion, she does not pull away like I'm expecting. She simply stares at me, searching. For her to allow a gesture from me that's perhaps too close, it tells a lot how far things have already shifted in the past few years. Cradled in mine, her hands still tremble. Most of the tremors has already subsided by now, though I doubt it will fade away this soon. Even as I trace the lines of her palm in what I hope is a comforting gesture.
I'm sorry, Belle.
For what? Is this about what happened tonight? You can apologize later when...
No, well, this too, but it's not just about this.
Wait, are you gonna confess right now? Come on, Ash, this is not the time and place! The last time someone confessed to you, you were freaking choking with a blanket or some kind of towel or thing. That was all Rebecca's fault, by the way. But now you're gonna do this? Come on, it works both ways, Ashton.
It's for a lot of things. for calling you clumsy, and careless, and scatterbrained.
Are you sure this isn't a concussion?
You would think that, wouldn't you?
Well, you don't usually apologize.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about that too. For all the times I've teased you and made you cry.
Unexpectedly, her fingers tighten around mine, our hands falling between us as something tender shifts in the air. Another exhale, another drawn breath teases out of me, filled with every hesitation and uncertainties. But when I finally choose to break silence, it's only when I know that will slip past my mouth is that one truth I will hold against the world.
But for all those callous words, despite all those, there's nothing I don't love about you. In fact, those things, I love those. And everything.
What the fuck did I just press? I pressed something by accident with the bally song.
Everything that's you.
For a long moment, she offers no response. Her grip on my hand merely tightens. Although my heart is pounding hard against my ears, I take a chance and look up, slightly leaning away and giving her a cautious glance, more than ready to hear her rejection. And it is one, despite the smile on her face, if it can even be called one, of course. There's a pained aspect to it I can hardly name. Regardless of what it means to her or what she intends to convey with it, the sight of it alone makes me regret ever mentioning anything. You're gonna feel the same kind of rejection you did to Rebecca, Ash. It's almost as if she's forcing herself to push out the next words out of her mouth for the sake of not hurting me. Not that I won't be able to take it, but if these feelings will only put a heavier burden on her, I'd rather not have said anything at all. As expected, with one last squeeze at the hand cradling hers, she pulls her hand away from mine. When she speaks though, there's a stark refusal to meet my eyes. Shut up, phone. Not that I hold it against her. The situation is already awkward as it is.
Ash!
This is not the time to be doing this, you kids! She pauses, biting her lower lip. A small frown forms between her eyebrows while she struggles to find the right phrases to string together.
Ashton, I'm really sorry.
I'm in love with your best friend, Zach. That's it. Yes, tell her, Isabella. Tell her.
Oh,
Tell him,
no,
sorry.
it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
I was already expecting that. Kind of. But you don't have to...
No, I mean, I can't. I can't afford to think of anything other than helping my family. Especially now that Papa's gone.
Yan. Priorities first bago landi. Yan.
They're going to need me more than ever, Ash.
Yan.
I'm sorry. I really can't. Not right now.
Yes. I've always known it would lead to this. To some extent, her family will always come first. Who am I to take that from her? Well, hey, I just noticed it's actually raining outside. I thought it was like the game's ambience or something. It hurts, of course, but the pain eases, knowing that in spite of circumstances, her heart will always be in the right place. That she's still the same woman I've fallen in love with.
It's alright, Belle. Don't apologize.
Again, this is not the time and place, guys. Jesus Christ.
If it still matters, that's actually what I love about you. Of course, not that I'm expecting anything by telling you that, but... You get the point. Yeah.
Thanks, Ash. I mean, thank you for loving me. Even after everything.
Her response is a smile and a soft laughter, perhaps the sweetest I've seen and heard from her. Just from it, I know nothing will change despite her answer, and any lingering feelings that will come from this. And there will be. Lingering feelings, that is. With the way she barged into our lives 5 years ago, it will probably be enough to leave a terrible impression on anyone. But that's also precisely it. It's people like her that you don't easily forget. It's them that gradually worms their way into a person's life until the very thought of losing them becomes unbearable. Now, if this is any kind of cliche love story, the next thing that will happen is like Rebecca will start slowly, or I don't know, will start going for Ash again, and then Ash will suddenly realize that, oh my god, I have this girl with me and I never realized it, and stuff like that. She's in front of me already. She was with me till when I was still a kid and stuff like that. We spent a lot of time together. Oh my god, I'm actually in love with Rebecca and stuff like that. Yeah, I hate those kind of stories. Anyway, as it is, I'm already content simply staying by her. No grand expectations or hopes attached, just the banter, the small smiles, and the quiet little moments that roar. I love her, but that also isn't all there is to us.
I know I caused you all kinds of trouble these past few years.
Hey, whoever told you I'm doing this for free? After we're done with this curse thing, you're gonna owe me a year's supply of ice cream.
Yeah, we'll see.
Another laughter, this time from both of us. Then she hits my arm with a light punch. Familiar, warm, bright, and hopeful. Much like everything about her. And it is strength enough to keep me going as I lead us both. Hell yeah! Power still hasn't come back when we make it downstairs. Tricky considering the stairs to the attic are a bit old. One mistake, anyone might end up slipping and falling. You're lucky if that's all that it will happen to you. With the stairs this step, a broken neck is likely an outcome. Please don't foreshadow that shit. Thankfully, Isabella's here to guide me through the darkness. She knows this place better than anyone, after all, in spite of all the misfortunes it has brought to us.
Careful, the floorboards over there aren't very sturdy.
Right on cue, the same boredom stepping on creaks and suddenly breaks. The pieces falling somewhere with a dull thunk.
Oh shit. Scumbag wouldn't be too happy about that. Ow, my foot.
See? I told you so. You never listen to me.
You know, something lingers to me. Hans is the name of the butler. He mentioned about something like, so what did you do to the madam? So what happened to Madame Wright? What happened to Hannah?
They renovated the whole mansion and they can't even replace one tiny part of the house.
I know, right?
Why don't you file a complaint to BRC then? I'm sure they'd be thrilled to hear it. You know it was such a rush job.
Outside, the winds have intensified. Even from here, I can hear the gusts battering the window of the attic. It makes you wonder why until now, the only person we've encountered from this house is the butler. Although to some degree, that makes sense. He is in charge of running the place. Where are the other servants though? In this storm, wouldn't anyone want to stay inside? A likely assumption is they're all asleep. The route I've taken doesn't really pass by the rooms they've likely assigned as the servants' quarters. However, they have also heightened security. I brushed it off earlier, thinking they would be posted a lot closer to where the master rooms are, but the second floor is devoid of anyone as well. As if every inhabitant of this place has suddenly disappeared overnight. I know, right? What's up with that? More importantly, where's that scumbag? I don't like this. I don't like this at all. The fact that we are here, right in the fucking middle of it, makes me all the more queasy. And that feeling only escalates once we reach the landing and Isabella swings the door open. She pauses abruptly right in the doorway that I almost run into her. A look of confusion in her as she looks wildly around the place, wordlessly taking in her surroundings. With each turn and shift of her eyes, her shoulder only grows tenser and the look of apprehension slowly dawns on her.
Isabella, what are you...
We aren't supposed to be here.
Sure enough, when I look up, we're standing right in the kitchen. Pots, pans, and all. The whole gang's in here! Woo! The mystery gang. Got Shaggy, we have Scooby-Doo, we have fucking Daphne here, we have... Oh well. McCulloch's also with them, of course. She didn't listen to me even if I already exceeded the 15 minutes we've agreed on. Although the color and strength seem to have already returned to her, enough for her to be able to stand unassisted. The empty plate on the counter appears to have played a part in that. Good news, I guess. As for the other two, however, relieved as I am that they've had the sense to wait and not venture deeper into the mansion, I can't keep but roll my eyes at both of them. Why did you even let Isabella go alone with the fucking taser, Zach?
Zach, I said 4 hours.
I know, but Isabella asked and... Come on, bro, you know I ain't a very good liar.
And it didn't even occur to you to stop her?
Yeah.
We all tried, all right? She was out the door before we could say anything.
And how did you guys even get in here?
All three of them exchange a look. One that I absolutely don't like. In the end, it's Isabella who speaks up, albeit with a bit of hesitation.
We heard someone scream, Ash. It led us here.
Without warning, the door behind us slams shut.
We need to get out of here.
Screw right. I need to get these people out of here. Luckily we're in the kitchen. We have two ways out. The back door and the cellar it offers. Except the hatch won't budge when I pull at it, and neither does the back door, as if something has locked it firmly on the other side. Zach also gives it a few tries, but even with the big guy's strength, it won't open. There's a long bout of silence in which we all simply look at each other, likely sharing the same thoughts. We're trapped. Something, or someone, has intentionally led us here. Fuck! In that same moment, once realization dawns it, something shifts again. Blood. In every nook and cranny, over every surface, and in every inch of the floor. This time, unlike the first one I've seen, it remains, and Gradually, the whole room begins to reek of that familiar metallic scent. Sharp, suffocating. And that's every object, including the cupboard, starts to rattle as well. The sound from outside, the moaning rumble of thunder, and even the howling winds have begun to fade away, replaced by whispers, shouts, and cries of pain. As though inaudible, each beat and note bombards every crevice in my head with vague images and sounds. There's no time to make sense of everything, however. I'm already shouting, fueled purely by adrenaline, barking orders and making a break for the door that leads to the next room, the dining. It should take us straight to the foyer where the main door is.
Move! Run!
Right in front of us, the mansion has started to change, and we're in the thick of it. However, instead of the dining room, like it's supposed to open to, the bedroom welcomes us instead. An image that lasts only but a second before blood begins to seep into the room, filtering into the walls, trickling from every nook and cranny. Everywhere, furniture shakes and every beam rattles. Before we can even step back from the horror gradually unfolding in front of us, the door slaps shut. A loud thud, bringing a sense of dread and chill creeping up in each of us. Along with it is another realization: the whole place is reordering itself. And with the door closed tight behind us, showing no signs of budging even though through sheer force, there's no choice but to go forward and hope to all gods that it will lead us to the exit. Until then, running's the only thing we can do, spurred by nothing but fear and a sense of desperation to live. Nice. Wait, what? My game sound stronger than my mic? What?
It's useless, Ashton Frey.
Oh, what the fuck did I... But with each room we pass, it only becomes apparent that the house has no intention of leaving us, or letting us leave, sorry. It lured us all here, and we've fallen for it. Now it's playing a little game with us, a sordid form of amusement. For whom, though? Their laughters are the only thing we can hear. With every hall we cross and door we slide open, the hope of finding an exit really dwindles. The gun at my hip is useless here. I am useless here. Some fucking genius I am. Some fucking person to trust I am. All of those, they mean nothing in the face of the unknown.
You finally figured it out. Huh, Ashton Frey?
Hell yeah, I am.
Just give it up. All of them will eventually die because of you.
And you are going to die alone.
Shut your fucking mouth!
Shh, Ashton. Remember what McCulloch said?
You know it's true, though.
All of it. It's why all you can do is tell us to shut up. You don't want to hear a single word, because you're already aware of it.
Alright, guys, just a moment. Just give me a moment. I think my mic isn't loud enough. There you go. Hell yeah. My recording device was fucked up. I'm sorry. If you guys have been just, actually you can just pretty much read everything. Okay, it should be now. It should be good now. Next,
You can't even admit it to yourself. Who's the coward now?
But no matter how hard you try, you're not gonna be able to save anyone.
The more gruesome the place turns, the bleaker our chances simply get. Wails and screams fill our ears as we pass by, words from a time and a people long gone, laced with nothing but pure agony, calling out, reaching out to us. Their voices almost too real, as if we're not the only ones trapped here, that there are others begging for release from this wretched place. Or maybe it's all just a show, a taste of what we will eventually be, souls forever held captive in a never-ending nightmare.
Mother, I've done it, Mother. Take me with you, please.
That's Hannah.
I can still hear her. She's here.
That's Hannah's voice.
Help me! Help me, please!
Is this what the curse is? What it means for all of us? Oh my god! That the letter not a morbid cry for help, but an invitation? A beckoning for unsuspecting souls to be dragged into this place's horrors, to be put under centuries and centuries of torment and agony? Suddenly, a dying, painful death seems preferable, enticing. Then ending up here living in a tortured existence. Or perhaps it's all the same. Still, hope worms its way into me. Not a usual thing for someone like me. But after going through countless doors and corridors, every little sign of hope I'm willing to cling to, as long as it will get us out of here. We're back in the dining room again. How long have we been running? How long since we've left the kitchen? At some point I've lost track of time. With the windows barred tight and the sounds lifting in the air, nothing but shouts and shrieks, it's impossible to tell. Not that it matters when an end is in sight. Shelves and furnishings bar the door, each stained with blood and gore. That if the situation isn't as desperate as it is, I'll find a different way out. But there's still a gap left at the topmost part of for a person to go through, as long as you use the shelves to climb.
It's an exit, all right.
From here I can spy the familiar walls of the foyer. Relief, only relief watches over me. Although my legs have been strained taut by all that running, and every bone and muscle in my body ache, there's only an easing. A sense of tension relieving while energy backflows through me again at the sight of an end. No sooner am leading us out of it. Zach helps McCulloch first, assisting her up and through the gap, before giving a hand to both Rebecca and Isabella. The moment the ladies are in, I nod for him to go through.
Go ahead. I'll watch your back.
Surprisingly, he does that without any protest. Not that there's any need to. Sometime after entering this room, the whole place has calmed down. No wails, no whispers, just a silence too deafening. But I'm not letting my guard down until everyone on the other side of this nightmare is safe. For all I know, this may be just a calm before another storm. Without further incident, however, Zach makes it to the other side and I'm following after him. However, odd this hush is, I turn my back from it and climb up. It's a tight fit, but I manage to squeeze myself in. The unease remains though. Maybe it's the adrenaline still coursing through me or how easy everything has been after living through that nightmare, fleeting as it is. But for some reason, something's still nagging at me. Call it a detective's instinct or my training or whatnot, I have a feeling something's going to happen and catch us unprepared. Unconsciously, before dropping down on the better side of this dream, my hand shifts to the gun at my hip. Instinct has never failed me before. My feet haven't landed firmly in the floor when...
Had I known there would be a party in my own home tonight, I would have opened a bloody bottle or two.
Here it comes, look!
People these days, in my own home. Can you believe it? I feel so left out.
A chill sips into every vein in my body. All of a sudden, every ache, every pain returns to me tenfold, and my knees threaten to buckle at the sound of his voice. Though it appears friendly, I know it is anything but. One does not spend investigating a man like him for over a year and holding a grudge against him for more, without knowing everything about him. His quirks, his habits, I'm familiar with all of them. And right now, Confronting Wright is beyond pissed. Shifting my gaze upwards is nearly too painful, knowing the danger. Not to me, but to those who have been lured in here by the curse. Oh shit, he has a gun as well. The handgun catches my eyes first, next to that swarmy smile on his face while he holds McCulloch, Zach, Rebecca, and Isabella at gunpoint. It's sight enough to lodge a painful thorn up my throat. I've been too complacent, too focused on other things that I've completely set aside the fact that scumbag will not be too pleased to see us here without knowing our reasons. But even with those good intentions, curses, and ghostly apparitions aside, we're still trespassing in his home. The question is, if he's even aware that the whole of his whole household has somehow disappeared and he might be the only one here? Likely not. Fuck. Even with people he knows among the crowd, there's significant effort in him not to simply shoot everyone in sight. Yeah.
And really, Daisy, even you, what would Kylie say?
Luke, this isn't what you're thinking. You have to listen to us. There's something going on here.
Well, obviously, why else would people be trespassing in my home? What about little Lily over there, then? What's your excuse? Checking back if your clients are doing okay? Is that it? Is this what this is?
What else would it be? We're doing good, by the way.
Sir, please.
Oh, please, what?
Becca's right, sir. We need to get out of this place. You need to leave.
Tut, not a good enough excuse, darling. You people are the ones who need to get out of my sight. Don't worry, I might consider pressing lighter charges for the woman. Can't say the same for the rest of you. But really now, I swear the people of this city need to be taught the meaning of privacy. This is how you want to start the week. Why don't we just go with a bloody massacre if we want to surprise people in their homes, huh?
Casually, he weaves the handgun at them as if it's just a mere toy and his words are no threat. The safety's off on his. Nothing stopping him from pushing the truth with his words. Call me paranoid, but at the slight gesture I draw my own and level it at him. Finger on the trigger and ready to release a safety catch in case things go south. He is quick to train his own on me, though, and just like that we're on a standstill.
Now, Feathers. Manners. You're in no position to be pointing that gun at people.
Why don't you put yours down first, and then we'll talk about manners.
Oh, he talks back. The gall! You know, your kind pisses me off so much.
Shooting him right now will be so worth it, with the way he stares at me like I'm a goddamn pest. But this isn't what I've come here for. I'm not a murderer. As much as I loathe him, I'm not the kind who will kill people in cold blood for my own gain or amusement. The law will bring him what he deserves one of these days. At the moment, however, we're all in the same boat with this curse, and he needs to understand that. The longer we stand here, the more time we're wasting and losing. Something we don't have much of. But how can I convince him? This scum is so full of himself, prefers to hear the sound of his own voice more than those of the people around him, no matter how much sense they make. Probably the only way I can make him listen is if I beg. No way in hell that's happening. Maybe I should eliminate the immediate danger first and disarm him. Oh shit! I have no idea. Oh, come on. You know what? I'll just save here just in case, you know. Yeah, you just have to beg to listen. My life's not the only one at risk here, however. There's Zach, there's Rebecca, and there's Isabella. And Collett's here as well. We're all unknowing victims of this fucking curse. I'm in no position to pick who to save and who I should simply let die. I suppose my pride can take a few hits and I can set aside my beef with this asshole. Take a deep breath, slowly I lower my pistol. So still on the edge and at ready in case he does something, I do my best to assume a less aggressive stance.
Listen, Wright, I need you to...
You broke into my house, and somehow, you expect me to listen like a good little boy.
Boom, butterfly effect. Yeah, exactly, guys.
Are you a bit touched in the head, Feathers? I'm not the one breaking laws here.
Look here, fucker. If I wanted you dead, I could have done it so many times already. In fact, I can easily shoot you down right here, right now.
Ashton, no.
And you won't be able to do a damn thing, even with that gun.
Almost howling. In fact, like I've just told him the best joke he's heard all of his life. The only thing missing is for him to keel over and start rolling on the floor. All while I do my best not to sock him with that sorry end of my pistol.
You have guts, Feathers. You have guts. Did you hear what you just told me? You've just threatened me inside my own house. My own home.
Yep.
You know what I'm thinking right now? In another lifetime, we would have probably gotten along well.
He's right on that, at least. I might have ended up liking him if I didn't have Professor Andrew, Rebecca, Zach, and Isabella. One mistake and it would have been too late for me. With his laughter ring all of those possibilities I could have lived, but have never been given the choice. All because I have other people with me. People who care. A sobering realization. But not so much when suddenly his chuckling stops. In 2 heartbeats, he marches towards me, grabs my collar, and aims his gun right at my head.
Ashton! Luke, no!
Hey, now you two, I'm sure we can all talk about this first.
At this distance, a slight flick of that finger on the trigger will be able to do more than kill me.
What is it that you people really want with me? This is the second time this week, and I'm really getting weary of this little game.
Second time?
Did the NCA send you to apprehend me, or has somebody paid you off to kill me? Which one is it, Feathers? Mind you, my arm's getting tired. Better answer quick if you don't want to beat the business end of this gun.
I keep my eyes trained on him in spite of the huge threat he poses right now, because if there's anything people like him, like us, prefer, it's honesty. You don't give that impression without keeping a solid eye contact.
I'm not with NCA. I'm just here to help. There's something else in this house, and we're all in danger. You have to believe me, Wright? You need to let us go. You need to get out of here before it's too late. If you want to keep your sorry ass alive, you'll listen to people with more brain cells than you.
Why, you insolent!
His fingers moves, but I'm prepared, my hand ready to reach up, disarm him, and knock him out. If I have to drag him out of this place unconscious to keep him from suffering the fates of every other person who has died from this curse, so be it. However, before either of us can fire a shot or tackle the other to the ground, another voice echoes throughout the foyer. A small little thing compared to the storm raging outside. It rings above it, nevertheless causing all of us to stop and turn. Oh shit, it's Hannah! No! Get your hands off her, you bitch! Oh no! To make matters worse, that thing's behind her, menacing, a rotting hand wrapped firmly around her neck. She looks like death. Pale and shaky, eyes red with tears, we nearly don't hear her as she pleads.
Help me. Please.
Oh no! Outside, another streak of lightning flashes and a clap of thunder ripples across the sky. As if this whole thing can't get any more foobar than it already is. Ugh. Oh no, what's gonna happen to Hannah? Oh shit! We're now on Luke's. Oh shit! We're now at Luke's fucking chapter, boys. Oh wow, what a fucking cliffhanger. To say that I'm scared of what's happening is a gross understatement. Trouble of any sort is the last thing I want to get home to after a long day at work and a trip to the bar. And when I see Hannah near prostrate, I can only feel dread. She twitches and sees his body wan and cold tight before thrashing, shuddering and What are we talking about here? What? Like a woman possessed, her mouth falls open and her eyes roll to the back of her head. It has the hallmark signs of a seizure. The symptoms are similar enough. And that knowledge, the fact that I know this, only makes me feel worse. Any anger I had caused by our disagreement on parting ways, no matter how temporary she claimed it to be, disappeared. The alcohol-induced daze that I felt was brushed aside as I ran to help her. None of that mattered at the moment. But to hold her close is all I can do while she stashes about. Oh shit, Hannah! Hannah got frickin' possessed. Oh my god! We're gonna fucking continue this on our next stream of The Letter. Holy shit, guys, that is it. Damn. Again, I am really sorry for the YouTube peeps for seeing Zach get, shot by an arrow right on her, shot to the heart by a fucking arrow. But yeah, that was my bad. Sorry for changing his fate, but I just really thought that disarming Luke without a gun would have been better. Like any kind of bloodshed in this game spells disaster. So we should have known. But anyway, that is it, guys. We finally freaking reached Luke Wright's chapter. And you know what? I'm very thankful for you guys. Everyone, Twitch peeps watching here. Look at that shit. Look at everyone who's still watching this stupid game. There you go. Thank you for supporting the series, guys. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we can finish this soon so that we can have some closure in this epic story. Wow, what's gonna happen now? Looks like Luke's chapter will start off from where Hannah mentioned about the breakup and stuff. And it seems like she's now possessed by the ghost bitch. Or maybe that girl who resembled the past owner. I don't know. But that's it. So anyway, thank you so much, guys, for tuning into The Letter. And I hope you guys look forward for the next ones. Alright, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. So yeah, Twitch peeps, say goodbye to the YouTube peeps. I mean, right now you guys have like 10 seconds before I end this episode. Woo, what a ride. What a freaking ride. How many hours have we been streaming? 2 hours? That was so awesome. Yeah, boy. We're good. And again, I also apologize for my crappy reading. There's something about me today. There's something about me. There's something about how I read today that sucks. I don't know. It's just that I don't know. My words stumble. I stutter a lot. I don't know. There's just something. It's maybe it's a curse. Maybe it's a curse, guys. Oh well. Anyway, thank you so much again, guys, for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. Twitch peeps, ano na?